intuitive lifestylist, Laura Brown here with your weekly reading. And whew, I don't know about you, but I have definitely been feeling this extremely tight, um, restrictive, and yet simultaneously very inspiring energy. it's um it's kind of like when you get this idea that you want to act on, that you want to move on, that you want to begin making your own, and yet you feel as though you either lack the energy, or you feel like something just feels like it's restricting me. And the energy that kept coming up, or rather the word, as I was channeling for this week, was, sorry, they're popping in with something. Thank you. Was first and foremost transmute. Transmute, transmute, transmute. It's very imperative for us to understand that transmutation of energy, emotion, beliefs, feelings, etc., mindset, even, doesn't have to be this massive, massive ceremonial type of event. Transmutation can simply be, I am feeling restricted, or restrained in some way right now. Where do I feel that in my body? What is in there that is eliciting this feeling? What is it that pops into my head when I think about this restraint? Am I truly restrained? I mean, maybe some of us really are. We have these grand visions of things we want to do that require us to have room to move and mobility that we don't really have right now. But even how we choose to feel about that, or about the feeling of restriction that could just simply be um, fear masquerading as restriction, all we have to do is ask ourselves, what am I thinking right now? What am I feeling right now? And why? What is going on here? And when we ask things such as, what's going on here? Like, all right, solar plexus, I'm feeling, that you're where this restriction is, what's going on? And it could be just about anything. But once we dialogue with it, we then have that option to choose. And that was what they were just dropping in, is that we have to understand that just because the clock turned midnight on December 31st, 2020, and we jumped into a new, calendar year of January 1st, 2021, it's not like a hard reset on life. And so it's not as though everything that happened to us, it's not as though everything we dealt with on a personal and collective macro level is suddenly gone. And so it's important for us to choose in the now moment, which is really, and this is so important to understand, it's the only thing that exists. If you were to lay out, okay, I'm 39. If I were to lay out 39 pictures of every minute from the moment I was born until this very second right now, I am not the same person in those 39 pictures. In fact, I'm not even the same person that I was when I first introduced this concept. We get to choose whether or not we have a history, whether or not we are carrying the baggage, the memories, the trauma, and all of the beliefs that we attach to them with us into the now moment. The problem is when we're not aware of this, what do? For every new version that comes into place in the now moment, which is a brand new moment that we've yet to experience. Therefore, we're a brand new version of ourselves that we've yet to experience. The old version is saying, okay, here's the programming, here's the stories, here's the history, here's the narrative. And it's not a judgment. We didn't know any better. But now that we do, we get to choose. In this now moment, if resistance, if whatever it is you're feeling is not making you feel good, you ultimately have the choice of how you handle that. You can either continue to repeat the story of resistance or frustration or solitude or lack or worry or stress, or you can choose to say, you know what? This is a new moment. This is a new version of me. And I'm changing the story. I'm letting go of the old history. I'm transmuting the energy that I'm feeling right now into something that feels far better. And sometimes the easiest way to know what to transmute it into is to just drop out of the head that's like going, talking to us at all times of the day and night, all the time, trip, 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 trip. It's like the fucking bird section of a pet store. I avoid it in the pet store, not always in my head. Can't always do that. Well, actually, we can. That's the whole point, is that we can basically drop into the heart, into the body, anywhere that we're feeling this feeling or we're having, this resistance to something. And that basically lets us know, okay, I'm listening to the body, I'm listening to the heart. I don't really care what's going on with the mind. I'm not pushing it away. There's no exertion here. There's no, ignoring or, you know, like struggling to get it away. It's just, it can float away in little conversation bubbles for the time being because my focus is from, third eye down. And if you really are having a hard time, then you can even take the third eye out of it and go from the neck down. Because tuning into that place will not only tell you, okay, this is where I'm feeling the resistance. This is where I'm feeling the frustration. This is where I'm feeling the worry, the doubt, the insecurity, whatever it may be. Because this week is presenting a lot of overflow. And it's overflow that is stemming from last week. It's overflow that is stemming from unmet expectations about, what we anticipated 2021 was going to be like. It's overflow maybe that we've been carrying with us for so long. And this is our year where we're really going to be kind of pushed into a space where it's time to actually dig into it. It's time to actually really make dealing with whatever's coming up your main priority. But when you drop into the heart and into the body and you can feel where that is at, and you can practice this if it feels too subtle to notice, if you don't have that great of a connection with your body, with your heart. But then you can also feel into the heart. And you can ask yourself, if this doesn't make me feel good, why am I choosing? Because it is a choice. Everything is a choice. Why am I choosing to feel this way? And what do I want to feel instead? And we can go the negative route, the positive, or the neutral. And if we find that even the neutral is all we can get to, that's still transmutation because that's better than being in the negative or what I like to call the disagreeable. And eventually we get to a point where we can transmute it into the positive. So instead of telling a story that we are awful with money, that we're constantly broke, that we're lacking this, lacking that. Number one, that's creating paradoxical intent. Okay. And what paradoxical intent is that you're telling the universe, source, whatever you call it, yourself, your intentions, that you don't, that you want more money, that you want to be better with money, that you want more flow. But yet, all of your fear and insecurity and worry and stress and telling yourself you're in lack of it, or, how am I going to pay for it? That is contrary to that. So that sends a paradoxical intent to the universe. And since all things are consciousness and energy, including our emotions, thoughts, everything, beliefs, universe, source, it's going to reflect and bring to you more proof of what it is you're sending out. Because whatever is strongest is what you're broadcasting. And when you're in insecurity, fear, lack, worry, stress, that's stronger and is your core transmission of consciousness that is going to end up being what is reflected back to you. And it's going to come through in experiences that you're going to mistake as proof. See, I told you, bad with money. It comes in, it goes out, never stays, can't hold on to it, etc. So we have a choice in every moment. In that moment, if we're telling ourselves that story, we can flip the script, literally flip the piece of paper and say, I am becoming better with my money. I am making money a neutral tool. I am disattaching any and all beliefs I've attached to money, because ultimately nothing has meaning until we attach a meaning to it. Everything else is meaningless. It is the meaning we attach to it. I love this shirt. I love wearing it. It's so comfortable. It's warm, yet it's not full sleeved. So I get to show off a little bit of my cool tattoo that I really love. And it's not, it's perfect for when you want a little warmth, but not too much. It's my favorite shirt. But that's the belief that I have attached to this shirt. In the end, this shirt is meaningless. It doesn't have a meaning. So you get to choose what meaning you're going to embody next. And so you can say, I remove any and all meaning that I have put upon money, love, relationships, etc. Because when we attach meaning, we then have an expectation. And in 20 years of this work, most of the disappointment that my clients come to me with is because there are expectations that were not met satisfactorily. And those expectations create an insistence, and an insistence creates resistance. See how that works? So whatever it is this week that is coming up for you, that you're being called to transmute, it's as simple as identifying what you're feeling, where it's at in the body. You don't need the head to figure it out, because again, it's already busy telling your heart to beat, telling your liver how to be a liver, your kidneys how to function. Also, you don't have to. But it doesn't have any means beyond the history and beliefs you've associated with it and the programming therein to solve the questions of today. And if now is the only moment that exists, then that history, that past, is not the place from which we want to be writing our present story. So when we know where it's at within the body, when we know how we prefer to feel, where we've attached meaning that we need to unattach to something, we can begin to say, you know what, I'm unattaching XYZ meaning. I'm seeing this as neutral. I'm embodying this neutrality. I'm embodying the positivity that I can still do whatever is coming to me. I can still accomplish whatever is coming to me that I desire to do. I can still make a change that I desire to make, because change is really a huge theme right now. Not just because it's the new year, but in general. It's all around us. We're seeing it everywhere. Economic structures, political structures, social structures, anything that is distorted, misaligned, or otherwise just created of ill intent is falling apart. So change is an inherent theme. But adding to that, we're also at a time of year where everybody has all these ideas of things they want to change and do, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And when we have this place of change, change is fine. We can change anything that we want. I'm in the business of helping people make changes and to realize that it doesn't have to take forever and it doesn't have to be hard. But we have to be in a position where we begin to understand that none of what resides behind us it doesn't even exist anymore. We're not that same person. There's nothing tangible. And it's simply our bringing the emotion into the present, bringing the memory into the present, along with the meaning we've attached to it, that makes it part of the present. Again, another choice we have. Do I keep bringing this into the present and making this part of my experience? Doesn't mean you can't make changes. Doesn't mean that you can't create and bring to reality the many things you may feel inspired to do. It may simply just be a matter of transmuting the energy that is around that, the emotion that is around that is not about you in this present moment, but is a carryover from something you don't have to carry with you anymore. So I encourage all of you this week, to embrace the idea that, number one, transmutation does not have to be this difficult process. You don't need someone else to do it for you. Sometimes it's very nice to receive. It's why people like me are in the business, but I've even been putting myself in the position of receiver. Just had a session with the beautiful at Natalie's Soul on Instagram at 6:30 this morning. I've worked and I'm getting ready to work again with the I think it's the energetic or energy alchemist, one of the two, on Instagram. Beautiful woman, Crystal, love her. I've been allowing myself to be in a position of receiving, because while I may have the tools, sometimes it's nice to just sit back and receive and to have somebody else hold space for you. So yes, you can do it on your own. It's not hard. And if you're feeling like, I would like a better understanding of this, and yeah, I kind of know what I have to do or what I want to do, but I want and feel inclined towards having somebody hold space and help me with this. Okay, that's great. Do it. But allow yourself to sink into that. Allow yourself to embrace a new story. Allow yourself to understand that nothing has meaning until you attach meaning to it. So you can either continue to attach meaning and carry over that meaning into every now moment, or you can choose and say, you know what? I don't like that history anymore. It doesn't serve me. It doesn't help me. It doesn't really make me feel good. And I'm of the mindset. In fact, I just got done writing an article on this. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Yeah, if it comes down between catching up on laundry after a busy day or sitting down and reading, a book I'm really into, and I know that reading that book feels just so much better, you're going to find me on the couch, curled up, maybe with a glass of wine or tea, reading that book. Because I can get to that laundry at any time. I have no meaning attached to that laundry. I don't feel like I'm not worthy or that I'm a bad mom or wife if that laundry doesn't get folded tonight. Yeah, eventually it has to get done, but I don't have to do it that very moment if that's not what really is feeling nourishing within. So, if anything you're doing or saying or thinking or believing or feeling does not feel good, transmute that shit. Let go of any meaning you've attached and say, and ask yourself rather, what is it that would feel good right here, right now? If I didn't have all this meaning attached to folding laundry, what would feel so nourishing and yummy to my being right now? And allowing yourself to then do that within reason. You can't necessarily fly off to Spain on a moment's notice, especially right now, or maybe you have the money and you can. Um, but the idea is okay, well, maybe sitting down and doing a virtual tour of Spain feels really good too. There's always a solution. And you can give yourself permission to do what is going to make you feel better and to let go of what is not making you feel good. Because if it's not a match to feeling good, then what you're sending out in with your consciousness is going to be reflected back, because all things are energy, all things are pure consciousness. And I don't know about you, but sitting there and folding laundry and being resentful the whole time that I'm doing it, that's not a broadcast. I want the universe to be like, oh, I guess she wants more laundry. And I'll tell you, I have two young girls still in the house, 10 and 6. I have a husband. He's probably cleaner than I am. And I have, more clothes than I care to admit. So the times that I have begrudgingly being like, I hate fucking folding this laundry and throwing them in the piles. Miraculously, those baskets fill up that much faster. Yeah. Why? Maybe because the universe is like, well, I guess she wants her kids to throw shit that's not dirty into the baskets. Or maybe, she's even going to be like, oh, fuck, I don't feel like putting it away. I'm just going to put it in the basket. But if I can, A, fold that laundry while I'm playing my favorite song and singing along and maybe grooving a little bit to it, chances are that task is not going to be bitter and resentful. And there's going to be a different consciousness that I am sending out into the universe. And maybe, fingers crossed, because my 6-year-old is a bit of a slob, those baskets won't fill up so fast. Or if I'm really not feeling it, really, really not feeling it, and I'm feeling like something else would just be so yummy, I'm going to give myself permission to do that. And that in and of itself is a transmutation of energy, emotion, mindset, meaning, and belief. And it's not that hard. People think that it's hard. Well, it's so hard to give myself permission to do the things that I want, because then all I do is I think about all the things that I'm supposed to be doing. Why are you supposed to be doing them? Is the world going to stop spinning if laundry piles up, or your kids eat 10 minutes later? Or if, heaven forbid, you order pizza because you don't feel like cooking? You have there's this idea of what we're supposed to do is another restrictive belief that we've attached meaning and we've chosen to adopt. We've chosen to make it a part of a program that we are run by. But just as you chose to let guilt and shame and feeling bad because you're doing something for yourself be a dictator of whether or not you can do that thing, whatever it may be for yourself, you can easily choose otherwise. You can easily say, you know what? I'm not going to attach that meaning to that anymore. I'm allowed to take some time for myself. I'm allowed to say, you know what? I don't feel like cooking. I don't feel like doing the laundry right this second. Because who even knows? Maybe after I've read a couple of chapters, I'm going to uncurl and stretch and feel a whole lot better. Like, okay, I can go fold some laundry now from a better place. That's transmutation. It can be that simple. And with all of the change and energy and everything that is coming through at this time, and everybody is feeling it in their own unique way, the main thing I want you to know this week is that you have a choice, because the only moment that exists is this now moment. And nobody else but you chooses what this now moment means and will hold for you. Yeah, there can be a whole lot of external shit that happens, but you still have the choice if the external is allowed to impact your internal state of well-being. That's a choice you can make. We care, we don't carry. So I really ask and invite all of you to embody this week, to bring it within your being, to let it be maybe a guiding mantra, to maybe even journal. What am I struggling with most right now? And what is the meaning I've attached to it? What are the beliefs that I've attached to it? Is it related to something that doesn't even exist anymore? Does it make me feel good? Do I even believe it? And then literally flip the page over and put down, if it's lack of self-trust, every single moment I feel myself becoming more and more connected to my inner self-trust. I make decisions that I know I can trust. I believe in the choices that I make. I trust them. That's transmutation. So I hope that this message has helped. I hope it is clarified. And I hope that it helps you this week. And as always, I welcome your comments. Feel free to comment below. Feel free to shoot me off a message. But most of all, I want you to all know that I love you. I thank you for watching, and I will talk with you soon.